He was the greatest warrior the world had ever seen. Fast, fearless, and nearly invincible. But one weakness brought him to his knees. This is the story of Achilles, the hero of Homer's Iliad, the slayer of Hector, and the man with the most famous heel in history. But was he just a myth? Or was Achilles based on a real warrior who fought in the Trojan War? According to legend, Achilles was born to a mortal king, Peleus, and a sea goddess named Thetis. Knowing her son was destined for greatness, but also death, Thetis tried to make him invincible. In one version of the myth, she dipped him in the river Styx, the river of the underworld. Wherever the water touched, he became invulnerable. But she held him by his heel, and that small spot remained untouched. That was his weakness. Achilles grew up trained by Chiron the centaur, learning to fight, run, and heal. By the time he reached manhood, he was unmatched on the battlefield, faster than any man and stronger than any foe. But then came the call to war. When Helen of Troy was taken by Paris, the Greeks united their armies to bring her back. Achilles' destiny was tied to that war, but he didn't want to go. Thetis knew he would die if he went to Troy. So she hid him, disguised as a girl on an island. But the Greeks found him, and Achilles, knowing the truth, chose glory over safety. He said, "If I stay, I'll live a long, quiet life, but if I go to Troy, I'll die young. Yet my name will live forever." So he went. At Troy, Achilles became the Greeks' greatest weapon, unbeatable in battle. He killed hundreds, maybe thousands, but his pride became his downfall. When Agamemnon, the Greek king, insulted him and stole his war prize, a captured woman named Briseis, Achilles flew into a rage. But instead of fighting, he withdrew from battle and refused to fight for the Greeks. The war turned against them. Greek warriors were dying. And then Achilles' best friend, Patroclus, begged to fight in his place. Achilles allowed it and gave Patroclus his own armor. But tragedy followed. Hector, prince of Troy, mistook Patroclus for Achilles and killed him in battle. When Achilles heard, he snapped. His grief turned to rage. He rejoined the war, burned with fury, and swore to kill Hector himself. What followed was one of the most brutal duels in all of myth. Achilles chased Hector 3 times around the walls of Troy before striking him down with a spear and then dragging his body behind his chariot for all to see. But this victory came at a price. Achilles knew his time was short. The legend says that not long after Hector's death, Achilles was struck by an arrow, guided by the god Apollo and fired by Paris, prince of Troy. And where did it hit? His heel, the one place he was vulnerable. Achilles fell, and the greatest warrior of the ancient world was dead. Some stories say he was cremated and honored as a god. Others say his mother returned to take his body beneath the sea. Was Achilles real? Historians believe he may have been based on a real Mycenaean warrior who fought in a conflict near modern-day Turkey around 1200 BC, part of the war we now call the Trojan War. But over centuries the story grew. His strength became unmatched. His story became legend. Today his name lives on in a simple phrase, Achilles' heel, a small weakness in someone who seems otherwise unbeatable. He was the hero who chose fame over life and became immortal in story, if not in body. Achilles reminds us that even the strongest can fall, if they don't guard their weakness.